Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's lesson, we're going to be covering multiple stuff, but hopefully they're good basics and it's going to help you out. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing is just the general advice of keeping things compact, okay? And by compact, I mean imagine that there's a frame in front of you. So anything that's going to attack you has to go through this frame in here. So if you're blocking like way out here, it makes things a little inefficient. So you just want to stay in the frame, and same with your attacks as well. You want to stay all nice and compact. So this frame, we could actually practice it with this form right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I am actually going through the lines of the frame. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, why is it important to be so compact? Well, one of the things is when you see guys that are really good, they're compact because they put in a lot of reps. They're all about developing skill, and when you do that, you become efficient. It's just the law of the universe. You become more and more efficient, so instead of making huge moves like this, you're just going to go like that, all right? So just 1, 2, 3, 4, just like so. So keep it in the frame, practice that. It's good for skill development, but at the same time, if you compare it to a move like this, where you're bringing the stick out, boom, 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 like that, right? Or one of these, where you're making circles right here and you go, boom, something like that. Is it going to have as much power as that? Absolutely not, okay? If you stay in the frame and you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't care how you're free-forming, but any of those moves right there, staying in the frame like that, you're nice and compact. Will it compare to something like this? And the answer is no way. No way can you compete with something like that, okay? So that's why I say to you guys, practice both. Practice staying efficient in the frame, but also practice power, okay? How do we practice power? A good form for that is this form right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 is the stab right there. So one more time, diagonal, diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, diagonal, diagonal, and then stab, all right? Go outside and practice that with like at least 70% force, and you know, pick it up. Don't immediately go to 110%. You might hurt yourself. You got to warm up really, really good. All right, so for this next part, we're going to be working on the 4-count drill. And please notice that I have 2 completely different sticks. The reason why I'm doing this is because improvised weapons training is important to me. So if I have my own stick, or if I find one, or if I take one away, chances are, if I'm able to get 2 sticks, that they're not going to be exactly the same of each other. So you want to get used to that. So that's why I recommend that you guys train with different size sticks, different weights, you know, different material even. So in this case I have PVC, and then the other one is rattan. So anyway, the 4-count drill, let's focus on that. This is your starting position right here, and we just go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're back to the same starting position. So for right now, it's just memorization for people who've never done this before. Just memorize it. Exaggerate the movements because it's easier to learn. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. As you get better, we're going to add a rocking motion to it. Keep the moves separate. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In other words, don't do this because you're going to get confused. Okay, so make sure you go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Notice how I'm now turning. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This rocking motion right here is a little bit more advanced. You know, we're progressing it just a little bit more. And now what we can do is I'm going to rock this way and this way. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to rock this way. 3 and 4. You see that? So instead of just going side to side, instead of just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, doing the same thing, but I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that creates this X pattern. When you have an X, that links to a figure eight. An X is part of a figure eight. So that's the direction we're heading in, because we want to make it more smooth, more circular. So from this 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can go 1, 2, and continue the motion 3, 4, continue the motion 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can kind of see how it starts to become a lot more circular. Okay. The other thing is we could keep the arms down here and involve more wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see this motion like this. So you can see that it's highly circular. Boom, 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 boom. And the focus down here is on the wrist. It's just naturally easier for the body to do that, to keep things in the center right here, and then you could just kind of like flow that way. You could create your flail motion. So definitely flows better when you have the stick down here, but that is not an excuse not to practice different levels. So you should practice up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And you should also practice down here, all right? You should be able to practice all the different levels, and each one can provide different benefits, all right? So when you're crossing the arms like this, remember I said that that could be your shield. All right, so now we're going to go empty hand, and when we go empty hand, the motion is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2 can be high, or 2 can be low down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 2 different ways to do it. Defensively, what I want you guys to think about is that because we connect the moves, okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, but you see my number 1 starts right here, because it's not just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you stop, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. The way we're practicing it, and this is the important part here, is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you continue 1, 2, 3. That's how you get your flow, right? That's how you, because you're putting it together. Essentially, there's no beginning and there's no end. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you do it that way, okay, as number 4 comes, number 1 comes in. You see this? My arms cross. And I said to you guys before, this is important. So defensively, an attack comes in, and this is my first move right here. This is my parry, and this can be a strike, but it's also kind of a catch. All right. The reason why we go like this when we're trying to catch a mosquito rather than catch it like that. Okay, we're trying to catch it in a arms cross position, essentially. Boom, like this. So this is the same idea right here. So that's my number 1, actually. It's my number 1, and that's my number 2. It's instantaneous. Number 1 comes in, and then number 4 is actually parking right here, and number 1 comes in, and then because I did my number 1, this is my number 2. Boom. This motion right here, like so. So I'm catching the strike right here, and this is my wedge right here. Okay, so you could wedge, get out of there, or you could wedge and go inwards, right, and use the forearm as a shield. All right, so one more thing for you guys to consider is that when we are progressing the technique, we want to include failures, okay? It makes it more realistic, because in real life, anything can happen, bad things can happen, you can mess up, and if you incorporate that into your training, into your strategy, then you're going to be prepared. If you don't, and you're expecting to perfectly catch and be textbook, then that's kind of a high bar in a real life situation with adrenaline and all exciting things are happening, and it's scary and all that, you know. So let's include the failure aspect, okay? So the first idea here is to go boom. This is our gunting. This is our scissor motion right here. This is our catch. So this is actually the number 1 motion, but number 4 needs to park. So we just doing it simultaneously right here. So 4 parks, number 1 comes in, and this is my defense right here. I catch it, or I can parry it and strike right here. Okay, either way, hopefully I am avoiding the hit. If this does not work, then the second part is this right here. This is also another, this is kind of like a vertical gunting right here. So this is the motion right here where I am trapping this way, okay, or catching it this way, and then this arm comes up right here. So this is my 1, 2, 3, and 4. Taking it back to the original form so you could still see the connection. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 1, remember this number 1, by the time that happens, this is my gunting already. So boom, okay, 2, this is my number 2 right here, okay, and then I go 3 and 4, okay, but once again, if number 1 fails, all right, not a big deal, I go to number 2, okay. If number 2 fails, well, hopefully 3 and 4 can do something for me here. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.